Hello, everyone, and thanks again for joining us here at Lux Mundi, where we get together with wonderful speakers and wonderful people from around the world who will be presenting on June 18th, 19th, and 20th this year at the 7th World Peace Conference on Peace and Light. Today, I have a very, very important guest. Her name is Fumi John Stewart, and she is the executive director of May Peace Prevail on Earth International. Welcome, Fumi, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Teresita. Such a pleasure to be with you today. Thank you for inviting me.
It's an honor to have you here. It's such an honor. I can't wait for you to be able to speak to us and tell us a little bit about what you do, um, so that our guests can get a little bit more informed on the projects. Oh gosh, the projects that you do and the peace pole ceremony around the world. It's just so beautiful. And so I guess we can start and I'll ask you a few questions. So Fumi, what inspired you to get involved in the May Peace Prevail on Earth movement that started in
Yeah,
Japan?
yes, and I love to answer that question because it's so dear and close to my heart. Let's see where to begin. And I think a good place to begin is the place of my birth.
Uh-huh.
And I was born in Tokyo, Japan. My mother was Japanese and my father was American. And it was uh, a decade after the war, within a decade after World War II.
Oh wow.
And, Japan was still going through a lot of changes at the time.
Mhm.
And so, post war period, there was a lot of suffering still and poverty that I saw growing up. And one really big incident or historical occurrence that really changed my life was when I found out about the atomic bombing of Hiroshima
Yeah.
and Nagasaki.
Mhm.
So that really weighed very heavily on my heart when I was young and growing up. I couldn't understand why my father's country would attack and bomb my mother's country.
Mhm.
And it really hurt me a lot. So with that, I promised myself that when I grew up, I wanted to work for peace, that I wanted
Okay.
to make a difference, and especially that I wanted to become a bridge between East and West, between two cultures. And so I grew up, and of course, you forget many things. As a teenager, you're very excited, you're doing other things.
Yeah.
But, in the back of my head, I think, in my heart, that was always there, ready to bloom. So, fast forward, I was 21. I went to college in Los Angeles, and I met a friend who had a little sticker, a small sticker. I have one of those stickers somewhere, but it said, "May peace prevail on earth." It was a bumper
Okay.
sticker, and I thought, it was like a wake up to see that. I got connected with that immediately, and my friend said that this movement, it's a movement. It started in Japan, and that for me was an instant knowing of what I came to Earth for this lifetime. That
Wow.
I had connected with my passion, with my mission. And from that day forward, I wanted to know everything about the movement, how it started, what the activities were. So
Mhm.
that connected me to the movement, the World May Peace Prevail on Earth movement, which was started in Japan by a philosopher, visionary, spiritual leader, teacher, educator. His name was Masahisa Goi.
Mhm.
And he was just a man full of love. And he uh, went into a practice of prayer and deep meditation for many, many years. And he was received through divine inspiration, the words and the prayer and the invocation, may peace prevail on earth. And he was asked to spread that to the world as a universal message of peace. And so that's the beginning of the May Peace Prevail on Earth movement. It was inspired by Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and Mr. Goy also said that because Japan suffered the first atomic bomb and hopefully the last, that Japan has a great mission to send a very strong, important, deep message of peace out to the world. And he said that that message is may peace prevail on earth. So with that, the movement started in 1955. So it's been close to 70 years now. And, many, many decades, many dedicated people who, really worked hard to spread this message out to the world from Japan. It was, of course, a very small gathering at first, and it grew and grew. It attracted many people because, as you know, peace, harmony, love, and all of that is people were needing that at that time, as well as it is now. People are really seeking for that within themselves. And especially at that time, post-war Japan. So it grew and grew, and now it's an international movement. And I'm sure many people listening to this have seen May Peace Prevail on Earth somewhere or have heard of the message. And right here, I have a peace pole, which is one of our iconic symbols and movement programs that we encourage the world to take part in. So it's really a message that's been embraced worldwide now.
So tell me, Fumi, for those of us that don't know what your organization does specifically, can you tell us how does May Peace Prevail on Earth International inspire a world of peace and light? What exactly goes into creating that movement that you're so much involved in?
Mm-hmm. And I just touched upon it very lightly,
Hmm.
introducing you to this peace pole. And I think this is one of the major ways that May Peace Prevail on Earth International puts a signpost or an icon, a symbol out to the world, very tangible that people can participate and become active in. The peaceful comes in many different languages, so you can have a language that represents your culture, your community, and it brings people together. It has this very magical power to really bring the hearts of people together, people of many faiths, people of many traditions. It's used in ceremonies, it's used in schools, it's celebrated, in various organizations and institutions that really feel drawn to this message. The message, it's beyond borders. It travels across boundaries, across distance, and it's really very, very powerful, especially to know that to date there are approximately 250,000 of these peaceful standing all over the world. So you can imagine all those people wanted to plant this message into the earth for light. Yes,
250,000. Wow,
yes.
that's a lot.
And to plant a peace pole, it's like we call it the acupuncture of the earth.
Ah,
You plant the peaceful for healing, for awakening, for enlightening, for justice, for love, for harmony. It just encompasses all the virtues and all the hopes and wishes of humanity is really encapsulated in the peaceful and this message. So just to think that all those people really felt that it was so important to plant this message of peace and unity in their community and to get people involved to plant it. Many people organize dedication ceremonies in a traditional way. They'll have dancing, singing, music, prayers. It's just so much creativity goes into receiving and welcoming the peaceful. So I would say May Peace Prevail on Earth is very dedicated in spreading light and love throughout communities, across continents, and really speaking to the heart of the people. And that's how we contribute to creating peace and light in this world. And I think, many people watching this and also all of the speakers were all dedicated to the same purpose and the same goals. And that really is to see peace prevail on earth.
I couldn't agree with you more, Fumi. I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's such a beautiful message and it's just so wonderful. And 250,000 polls, that's amazing. How long did it take to put all those polls? The 70 years or
Um, yes, the Peace Bowls came in the 60s, late 60s. So, and it's just really magical how it just mushroomed.
Mhm,
And they're still being planted. They're still
mhm.
being planted. But many people traveled around the world carrying those peace poles and planting them around the world. They became the Peace Bowl Project became an international project in 1986. So that was the
Okay.
first time it officially came out of Japan. Before
Okay.
then, it was just in Japan, and all those peace bowls being planted in front of schools and temples and churches and institutions, organizations, hospitals, private homes.
Mhm.
And so after 1986, it started to be planted in the US. And
Yeah.
so many people supported this and understood how important the message was. And it's really to awaken the consciousness.
Yeah.
It's to awaken the peace consciousness, the harmony consciousness, the love consciousness, because we really believe, and the founder of this movement really believed that every word, thought, and action had energy, and it had the power to influence the destiny of humanity. So
That's
I
right.
think by, people getting excited, planting these peace bowls, I think many understood that the mystical side, the invisible work that the peace bowl
Yes.
does
Yes.
by calling it the acupuncture of the earth. And it's just so tremendous. And I'm just so fortunate to be connected with this and to be sharing this story. Another project we have is called the World Peace Flag Ceremony.
Okay.
And we take this ceremony to different events. It can be an intimate event, large event. We've taken it to the United Nations General Assembly Hall a couple
Mhm.
times, but it's also performed in small meditation groups, at school events. And the flag ceremony, I'd like to say it's a ceremony for celebrating the oneness of humanity. Of course, the main invocation prayer is May Peace Prevail on Earth. But we send May Peace Prevail on Earth, the peace affirmation, to every country on Earth. And currently, there's 193 countries on Earth.
Mhm.
So we list every country and we invoke peace to prevail in each of the countries. So it takes the message much deeper to, visit each country and each culture, and to infuse peace in the consciousness, the awareness of that country, but not only for its citizens. We also include the kingdom of plants, animals, all creation when we send this affirmation to every country. So it goes from alphabetically or by continent, depends on how we have there's different versions of the ceremony. We travel from country to country, from continent to continent, and we end with sending a peace to prevail in all the indigenous nations, which we honor so much because they are the foundation of the wisdom. They bring so much wisdom and ancient tradition to humanity, and we really wish to respect them. So a big prayer for the indigenous nations, and of course all the other regions of the world, because there's nations or communities that are not recognized as nations. There's still tribes. There's still you don't have to be recognized by the United Nations to be a community or a nation. So
That's right.
we include them at the end. And I forgot to mention, during the whole ceremony, the flags are brought out as symbols of each country. And of course, we use them as spiritual symbols where people can focus and send their prayers to. And the flags are just beautiful when you really look at the flags of every country, because it's the expression of the tradition and culture of every country, what they select to use on their flags. It's just really beautiful. So you can connect to the spirit of the country from through the flags. And seeing all the flags being marched and walked around, and you can do it in various versions, in a circle, on stage, and marching along a path, parading it in the city, through the city. There's so many different wonderful ceremonies that have taken place at various gatherings. So that's
amazing. When you're talking about the flags, I just got so many chills up my arms, but it's that vibration of peace and unity, that it represents. And it's just magnificent to know that there are so many people involved in really trying to empower humanity with that meaning of peace, love, and harmony. It's just wonderful. And Fumi, one last question for you. With everything that's been going on lately, do you feel that there are reasons to keep hope alive?
Absolutely. And I'd like to say, as long as there's life, there's hope. I don't know whose quote that was, but I really love that one quote. And the hope in, I really feel that, well, for example, take last year during the pandemic, we really thought that, oh, we're going to have to take a break. Who's going to order a peace poll? Everybody is having their lives just uprooted. But last year we had the most requests for peace polls to be planted ever.
Wow.
So
That's surprising.
it's really hopeful that in even in pain and sorrow and disruption of life, that people chose to plant peace poles. That's so hopeful to
That
me.
is hopeful. Yes.
It's a sign that people know what they do make a difference. It makes a difference. And having a peaceful this message in their community, it does give hope to people. And
Mhm.
also, there's there's so much hope knowing that when people know that they're joining a whole community of peacefuls around the world. All those peacefuls are is creating the grid and the net around the earth. Of
Right.
acupuncture and healing around the
Right.
earth, that they are joining a huge movement that is so much bigger than themselves. And that peaceful stays for decades and decades, and continuing to
Right.
do the work, continuing to generate the incredible energy from the heavens, and heavens joining earth, and just this exchange of just divine energy taking place even after you plant it. So
Right.
that is really hopeful for me. And of course, having conferences like this, people are joining, people are awakening, they want to
Mhm.
make a difference, they want to, change themselves,
Right.
uplift themselves. So that is also so encouraging.
It
And
is.
yeah, I think we're also entering a very special time for humanity. Many people talk about we are entering the Aquarian age,
Yes.
and so many of our indigenous relatives have prophecies that are
Mhm.
coming true
That's right.
right
Yeah.
now for this age.
Yeah.
So, the dark winter is welcoming the springtime now. And,
Mhm.
that's so hopeful to know that we're entering an age, and it's beyond just humans,
Yes.
on
I
the human level, it's on the cosmic level that many things are helping us to transform and uplift to the next stage. And that to me is so encouraging, that the heavens are guiding us and also supporting us.
Yeah, one of the things that I feel is very empowering and really touches me on a personal level is the fact that not only do you guys embrace humanity, but you embrace all living creatures, including plants and crystals. And so that is important because sometimes I think most of the time we forget that it's not just us human beings here on the earth, but that there are other beings that are here that may not speak our language.
Hmm.
We
Hmm.
may not be able to converse with them in the same humanly way, but they're here, they're existing and they're living. And I think that's very powerful. So that touches me personally. And
Mm.
it's great that you
That's
guys are
beautiful.
doing this. And Fumi, it's been such an honor having you here today and letting our listeners listen to you talk a little bit about what you do and everything and how May Peace Prevail on Earth began so many years ago. And it's just so wonderful that you've been able to bring it across Japan, across the world from Japan all the way to the United States. And you have been that bridge. As a younger person, you wanted to be that bridge, and you are being that bridge between these two countries and around the world to continue to spread the word of peace. And it's wonderful. And so I'm honored and I'm very pleased and grateful that you will be at Paxe Lux Mundi, or the seventh World Conference on Peace and Light in June of 2021. So it's just wonderful, and I can't wait to see your presentation. I'm sure
Oh,
you have something amazing planned for us.
oh, yes, I do. And I look forward to meeting all of you and working with you. And such gratitude to all of the organizers who have been working with you, putting this together. And I look forward to collaborating, communing with all of you toward this beautiful event and during this beautiful event.
Thank you so much. It's an honor. It's quite an honor. Thank you so very much, and I can't wait to see you soon. Thank you,
Hmm.
Fumi. Is there anything else that you would like to say before we say
Well,
goodbye?
I'd like to say, may peace prevail on earth, que la paz prevalezca en la tierra. Um, uh, what other languages do you want to? 世界人類が平和でありますように. And yes, so
That's wonderful.
I wish you well, and I'll see you on June. Well,
June 18th,
yes,
19th, and 20th.
20.
Yes.
Yes, 3
Yes.
days. 3
3
days
days.
of love and light. The
That's
love and
right.
light explosion.
That's right. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be an unforgettable event. So I hope that many people can join us. Thank you, Fumi. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day.
Thank you, you too. Thank
Sending you
you.
all my love and blessings.
Blessings.